Greetings and welcome to another video by Sir Mike the Hedge Knight. We have a new character. It is a repetitive name, Cersei Lannister, a new. So what they did recently is they reworked the old Cersei. Now we have a new Cersei. Let's start with this. The Lannister faction. One of the topics of conversation recently, one of the things that my alliance and several other alliances are trying to do is, like with your primary team, you're trying to build a team with synergy. You don't typically, if you throw together just your top five might characters and they don't really work together, you might have a very strong might and they might be okay, but synergy makes a team, quote unquote, hit above its weight. Right now, the Lannisters are weak, so they're giving the Lannisters some love. Very happy about that. But the problem with the Lannisters is a couple of months ago they reworked the Lannisters, or several months ago, and their faction bonus, their faction bonus is to begin with some coins in the treasury, and all the Lannisters have a treasury ability. The idea is very thematic with the show. The Lannisters are the wealthiest family in Westeros, and they've got lots of money. So having that money will take a mediocre character or a mediocre skill and up it to a very good skill, ability, trait, what have you. So the idea is make sure you have enough coins in your treasury to activate those skills. So that's the idea of what the Lannisters are supposed to do. Here's the problem. Say you've got 5 Lannisters on your team. You start combat with 5 coins in your treasury. That is fantastic. You may wind up spending all those coins very, very quickly. And now, granted, the more Lannisters you have on your team, I don't know how the RNG figures this, but the more Lannisters you have on your team, the more likely you are to just naturally spawn a coin gem here or there. And many of the Lannisters have ways of spawning more coin gems. But when you spawn coin gems, and we'll talk about this with Cersei a little bit, when you spawn coin gems on the board, you still got to go get them. You got to go match them. And, so the other problem is if you've got 5 Lannisters and you're spawning more coins, that's good, but you've got 5 characters that need those coins. So now you've got 5 in your treasury to start, and say you have like a Meryn or the old Cersei, who I think starts with full stamina and can use an ability right away, and she uses some of those. Once these initial coins are spent, they're gone. It doesn't mean you won't get more, but compare it to other factions, the Baratheons. 5 Baratheons, 100% gem damage bonus. That doesn't go away after the first few gems hit. That's the entire combat. Targaryens, fire does, I think, 50% more damage. Starks, ice is 50% more effective. So, and on and on and on. So the Lannisters start with 5 coins in the treasury. Like, I'd almost like to see something where, like, a coin goes in the treasury every turn. Like a renew for coins. Something that gives you a constant flow of coins. And listen, you're going to match gems, and you're going to pick some up. But, say you get a nice cascade or whatever. Now you've got 4 members of your team ready to go, and you've done real well with coins. You've got 9 coins in your treasury. Oh, I'm set. I got 9. Well, are you going to be able to use all 4 of their characters for their treasury effect? Probably not. And when you're not, the Lannisters are fairly weak. So that's my overall comment on the Lannisters. And I want to build a Lannister team, and I want to like the Lannisters. And I kind of like this new Cersei. So we're going to jump into her. But I'm concerned that, putting 5 Lannisters on a team and saying I start with 5 coins in my treasury, that's not really synergy. That's saying you've given me 1 free good skill, or 1.5 free, if it costs 3 or 4 coins, I can use a skill and a half for free, and then I got to go get coins. I got to find ways of producing coins. And again, a lot of them do it, but you still got to go get them. And if you don't have enough and you have multiple characters with skill, now it's like, I don't want to use Jaime because I don't have any coin. He hits so much harder on that second hit, but I'm not going to have the coins because I just used it with Yellow Dropper. He used 5 to hit everybody. I don't have 8. I only had 6. So that is my complaint about the Lannisters, and that it's not. I think that's why we don't see a lot of Lannister teams in Raid. I don't see any Lannister teams in War because it's just not really synergistic. So would a Lannister team hit above its weight? My guess would be no. And the other downside is it's easy to put five Starks together, five Baratheons together, five Targaryens together, or five Lannisters together. But it's also fun when you can mix and match and make these hybrid teams. How do you make hybrid teams with Lannisters? There's a couple of combinations, but for the most part, the Lannisters, if they are not going to have enough coins to use their skills or traits consistently, then their skills and traits are a bit underwhelming. Can I put, let's say, three Starks and two Lannisters together? Well, if I have two Lannisters on the team, I don't start with any coins in my treasury. I'm not going to generate many coins because I only have two of them, unless one of them has a really good skill that helps with coin generation. So now when I get their skills, I may not have enough coins to use their skills to the fullest of their ability, which means their skills are weak. So why would I put them on the team instead of a five Stark team? Compare and contrast that to Ned Stark. Now that they've done the defense buff. Ned Stark, you could throw on any team you want, and he's a tank. Old Stannis Baratheon, his leadership ability, 25% gem damage. That the rest of your team doesn't have to be Baratheons. You can put him on a Targaryen team. So these other characters, I think, are a little bit more interchangeable and a little more fun. And the Lannisters, I guess it's sort of thematic with the show. They kind of keep to themselves. They don't really like anyone. And I don't think anybody really likes them. So anyway, without further ado, I'll step off the soapbox. Let us talk about the new Cersei Lannister. She is a blue mender. The Lannisters needed a mender. Very balanced, decent amount of hit points. She has a slow speed skill that heals all team members for 25% max HP. This is a heal. This is a heal and a half. Now, fair warning, 1 star, I believe this heal is 10%. Now, we all know that skill, you have to star up, level up, get your skill books, and get your skills up to max. You're not going to start at max. We know that. But what I've seen recently is some of the drop-offs are catastrophic. And the only complaint that I have about that is it's not quite a bait and switch, but they advertise a character and they say, hey, look at what Cersei can do. Oh, wow, 25% max HP heal. That's insane. And listen, it's slow, but it's not very slow. There are some very slow healers out there. Wow, this is unbelievable. And then you get her at 1 star and it's a 10. And now I can't tell you at what point does 10 become, I don't know, 12, 13.5, 15, 16. Is the big bump the final one? You got to get her all the way to 350. And then she goes from, I don't know, 16 to 25. So it's kind of hard to say what her heal will be along the way for those of you that aren't going to, open up the wallet and get her to 350 today. Hard to say. So the one thing that I think I advise people to do when you're thinking about getting a new character, you look at the character here, but make sure you go into your roster, click on them, and just see what the disparity is between level 1 and level 350, or I should say 1 star and 7 star, just so that you're not sort of whipsawed, that you get a character you think does X and they wind up doing Y. And you say, oh, wow, she'll be good in about 9 months when I get her to 7 star. So keep that in mind. But healing all team members for 25% max HP, not 25% attack or defense, maximum hit points is a really, really good heal. Really like that. Really like her treasury skill. Cersei does damage to all enemies at 175% attack, unnatural damage. Now, there's not a lot of unnatural resistance in the game, not a lot that I'm familiar with. There's some here and there, but I feel like I think Jorah Mormont has some, and he's gotten better with the recent defense buff. But I think there's not so many characters that do unnatural. So when people are putting together teams or a defensive team, what do people look for first? Defense, especially now defense got a huge buff. So defense, much more important. So they're looking at defense buffs, and then beyond that, they're probably looking at what? Physical resistance, and then perhaps fire resistance, because a lot of the characters do fire damage. You have Targaryen teams that do fire. I don't think people are really looking for unnatural resistance. So I like the type of damage that she does. I like that she hits all of them and she can hit them all hard. And so now you've got a mender who is not purely defensive. She is offense defense. Her leadership ability, When Cersei heals an ally, she has a 65% chance to spawn 2 coin gems. If that ally is a Lannister, she has a 65% chance to spawn an additional 3 coin gems. Now, like other things in the game, I'd assume it's not all or nothing. I don't think you would get 0 or 2 or 5. You'll get somewhere. You get somewhere between 0 and 5. Would be my guess. Her passive. She has an HP guard at 25%. Okay, good. She can't be one shot. When activated, she deals 65% attack unnatural damage to all enemies. That I like, and adds 3 coins to the treasury. And this is why, I said it a little bit earlier, and I want to focus on it now. What I would like to see more from the Lannisters are things that put coins in the treasury. Putting coin gems on the board, can I match them? Are they over in a corner somewhere? Maybe there's no matches there. Now I got to go get them. What I would rather see, what would make it feel a little more synergistic to me, is maybe not all of them, but if some of the characters had a little bit more of the ability to put coins directly in the treasury. Imagine if Cersei's leadership ability, instead of spawning coin gems, put coins in the treasury. That is a huge bump because it triggers when she heals. Well, she heals when she uses her skill. So now you could have a situation where multiple members of your Lannister team are ready to go, and you have a few coins in your treasury, and you say, okay, you know what? I got to use Cersei first because I want to use the coins I have on her. I don't have enough coins for everyone. I just don't. The whole board's got coins, but I only have 8, or I only have 4. So I want to let me use Cersei. There's a little bit of strategy now. I want to use Cersei first to use those coins to heal, because when she heals allies, and specifically Lannister allies, she's going to create more coins, and she's going to put them right in the treasury that I could use right now without spending a turn matching gems. Because anytime you spend a turn matching gems, like in events, you lose 1,000 points for spending a turn. When you're fighting someone and you spend a turn matching gems, they get to go. And how many times is it, have you been in that situation where, oh, I just need to match these gems and I'll get so and so's skill before they die, and then the AI goes and bang, they kill the weak character, and you go, if that one more turn, if I only had that one more turn. Well, this is the same thing. I need those coins. I'm holding off on a skill to get the coins, and that by the time you get the coins, character could be dead. So I would, I really wish they would tweak the Lannisters again. I know they've done it before and they're working with it, but they have the data. I don't know. You see any Lannister teams in Raid? We also have a new epic, the epic Qyburn. He has a slow speed skill, and he grants 40% power and 50% durability buffs to a target team member for 5 turns. That is really good. I have been looking to experiment with these relatively new power and durability buffs. I don't have enough of the characters that do it or have them at a usable level. Nothing to sneeze at all, and it's a 5-turn buff. I really like. So many of these things are 2 turns, 3 turns, like 5 turns for durability. Now I feel like it's not like if it's 3 turns, like what if I don't even get hit in that time? 5 turns, I might get hit by a skill, like an AoE skill or something. Maybe I don't have my skill ready, but now I've got 5 turns to collect enough stamina so that I can take advantage of the power buff. So I really like that. However, he afflicts them with 1 bleed. Okay, a little bit of a downside. Qyburn's a little twisted. We'll see why that bleed matters when we get to his passive. He also, as a Lannister, has a treasury ability for only 2 coins, which isn't a lot. Grants the team member 2 renew. Pretty good. Not bad. We all know how good renew can be. So really, for an epic, really like, now he's support. He's not doing damage. He's a buff guy. He's a support guy. But this is a nice buff. I said earlier, I don't know about mixing and matching my Lannisters. I could see putting Qyburn somewhere. I could see putting Qyburn on a non-Lannister team and saying, you know what? I can live without the renew. You take a big single target hitter, a Khal Drogo, you give him a 40% power buff, that is going to wreck someone. His passive, when an ally with bleed, now remember, when he uses his skill and gives someone the buffs, he gives them a bleed. When an ally with bleed uses their skill, now remember, bleed doesn't do anything to you unless you use your skill. If you use your skill and you have bleed, that's when you take damage. When an ally with bleed uses their skill, Qyburn heals them for 25% current hit points and adds 2 coins to the treasury. I like this a lot. Something different, something that requires a little bit of thought. So, what do we think about Cersei Lannister, Queen of the Seven Kingdoms, and Qyburn, the Twisted Maester? I think you could tell from my tone, I like them both. I don't like the faction. I just, you know, I can't say it enough. The faction is concerning to me. They're not too synergistic. I really like Cersei. I really like Qyburn. I like them both. I want them both on my roster. Even if I'll make a Lannister team, I'll deal with the slight lack of synergy. I think I could have a lot of fun and do some good things with them. And Qyburn, I could see putting on a hybrid team. Cersei, like other Lannisters, hybrid team, probably not so much. One last thing before we wrap up. When it first went live, there was this summon, which is a green token summon. We'll take a quick look. As you know, their theme recently is put a bunch of legendaries in the pool with a tiny drop rate. So if you do this, you're probably not going to get too many. There is a rate up. At least the pool now is all Lannisters and Marjorie, who can fight in the Crown Lands and has an ally bonus with Yellow Joffrey. So at least the pool makes sense. If I'm trying to build a Lannister team, I'm not too upset when I get other members of the Lannisters or some Marjorie. When they've done this in the past, they've like thrown in random, like I think they had like a dartboard and they're like, hey, we're going to throw in Ned Stark and Meryn Trant and Varys, and it's like, wait, whoa, guys, wait, why are you throwing them in with Rhaenys? It didn't make any sense. So I like the group. I don't like the idea. I don't like 5.96% drop rates. I don't like that you can't focus. So when this went live, they did not introduce a targeted summon where you could use gold. A statement was made on the official Discord by one of the mods or devs or whatever their titles are that they're discontinuing that. There will no longer be gold only summons where you can focus on a character. And rather than explain how severe the revolt was, I'd rather just fast forward and say 2 hours later it appeared on the like maybe even less than 2 hours. All of a sudden there was a gold only summon for Cersei. So but this is important. They're asking questions now on Discord. Hey, did you just give it back to us for Cersei? Because now you didn't give us any warning that gold only summons are going. People were spending money and buying gold with the anticipation of at some point I can use this gold either on Cersei or on the mountain or on whoever comes next. Rhaenys Targaryen, more members of the Blacks. They've always had gold only summons, so that you can get a character. If you do this green token summon, you're not going to have Cersei do a usable level. You're going to have 500 green tokens. You'll get to 30 pity shards. When you get to 80, the bonus shards. But there's 8 legendaries in the pool. It's a tiny rate up. You're not going to get enough to introduce new characters to the game to get them to a usable level. That's what that gold only summon is. So you save up a bunch. You see, I've got a bunch of gold saved up. So all of a sudden, the new gold summon appeared. Ta-da! And now the question is, so the revolt has calmed down. The pitchforks went away. But several people, including myself, said on the official Discord, hey guys, is this the last time we're going to see this? Because if it is, I'll just, whether I want Cersei or not, I'll just burn all my gold on her. Because I don't really need gold going. You'll always get some gold. You could always use it. I'd rather have green tokens than gold if gold has, no real value. So be aware of that. I don't have an answer for you yet. They haven't answered yet. I think the last we heard was, hey, we'll look into it and let you know. But as we know, I love the game, but the communication from Zynga has historically been very poor. Very often it's something like this. They do something and then you find out about it after the fact. Hey, here's Cersei. Oh, by the way, we took away the gold summon. Had they said that when Rhaenys was still there, a bunch of us, I would have jumped on Rhaenys. I don't need 32,000 gold. I need a 5-star character that I can actually use. So anyway, that information I thought is, if you're still paying attention, if you're still listening, I thought that was important to pass on. So the jury is still out. This summon is here for 19 days. The nice thing is it will overlap the mountain. The mountain, I think, is dropping October 29th. So there will be, at least at that point, we'll see if the mountain also has a gold-only summon. Will there be any beyond that? Really have no idea. So I'm not spending my gold yet. I want to get an answer from them. And again, I really like Cersei. I might spend the gold anyway. Really like Cersei. really want to start putting together a Lannister team. It's something different. Let me know what you think. Comment below, and we will see you soon.